the effort, obviously not the outcome. It's always about outcomes, isn't it? But I thought we did some really good things with especially with the ball. I thought we scored some really good tries, and we were scrapping and fighting and battling at the back end there, and showing real grit to stay in the game and finish strong. We did some not so nice things with the ball early part of the game and put ourselves under pressure. A couple of unforced errors, and then a penalty, and then it were a try. And I thought we got rough end of some calls as well. I'm not a big fan of the captain's challenge. I think it's ruining the game. It's stopping the game, and I don't think there's any rhythm to a game now. It's just stop start all the time. I'm not a big fan. We've had some good initiatives in our game where we've trying to move it on and make it interesting, but I'm not a big fan of that one. Overall, I'm disappointed because we didn't win. But again, we've had loads of stuff not go right this week. Tom and Muzzy go out, Westy pull out this morning. Alex Miller, our captain, our leader, go off the field, and we've lost by 10 points in the end there to a team that are going to Wembley next week. So, I don't think Warrington were great, to be fair. But they probably had a bit of an eye on next week. But we're still fighting and scrapping and battling, and that's all I ask from the players. And some of the technical and tactical things we'll get better with. We'll understand a bit more, and we had some players that haven't played a lot of game time that got thrown out. Sam Hall threw him out there in the back row and played 65 minutes there when he only played a couple of games. Louis Senior's only played a couple of games. George Griffin's been out for a while. So we had lots of things that we could have used for excuses, but we didn't. We just got on with it. So in all things put in there, I'm happy. And because the lads give everything that they've got, and if we do that, we'll start picking up some wins along the way.
All that said, at 28-18, did you feel there was a credible chance of a comeback there?
Yeah, I'm not sure they caught the call for the captain's challenge where we've put him back into the in goal. The refs give it as I just thought, I'm not sure. And just changed the momentum. They went down the other end and scored, and I felt like we had a real chance of getting back in it there. And good teams do that. Good teams take their opportunity. And Warrington, got some good players. Duffy, Ratchford, and Sneed, and they just probably had a little bit more quality than us in them final, in them areas, and took advantage of it. So fair play to them, and good luck to them next week in the final as well. But I thought we competed really well.
How is Mellor? Because it looked like he was in a bit of trouble about 5 minutes before he took the head knock.
I think he took a couple of decent collisions, and he's pretty tough as Mel's. He's one of our toughest players. He always carries with intent, always puts his body in front, and for him to come off, he must have been in a bad way. He's okay at the end there, so it's pretty lucky that we've not got a game this week, because we've got 0 back rowers left in the club. No edge players, so anybody that plays back row wants a game, let me know.
You've got a lot of middles, haven't you? Not got a lot of
edges.
So
I think it's a bit of a cursed position for us at the minute.
Let's talk about another position. It was Chris Atkins' first start. How did you think?
I thought he was very good. I thought he did some really nice things with the ball. We wanted him to sort of play in that middle role and interchange with William Horn at 9, and I thought he was good. I thought he did some nice things. I thought whenever we moved the ball, we looked dangerous. We probably didn't get the balance right. We probably overplayed a little bit at times, but it's all learning for us. It's a bit of a learning curve for some of them players. The right time to move it and the right time to kick into the corner and build some pressure. So we need to learn and understand that. But I thought he was good, and I thought our spine took a while to get going, but in the second half there, DJ and Rowan and Tex are playing, and we looked threatening.
And they were threatening. This is nothing against you 6 and 7 tonight, but with Atkin, is there potential for him to play in the halves at some point?
Yeah, I mean, he can play. I think that's the great thing about Chris, is he can play anywhere. You just tell him to go out there, and he'll go do a job for you. And I liked some of the stuff he did for us today, and that was on the ball as first receiver, playing that, I suppose, old school loose forward role. And I liked a lot of the stuff that he did. There's potentially could move into the halves at some point. But we'll see how that plays out over the next few weeks.
And just on the halves, Rowan Milnes, apart from the 2 assists for the Lola tries, is kicking. I think you've said he's been working on it. faultless tonight, goal kicking.
Yeah.
2 for the opposite touch lines as well. You'd be happy with that?
Yeah, good. He's practicing. You know, I think his confidence, his goal kicking. I think if you feel like you're striking it well and they're going over, it's, you know, you build up that confidence, and I suppose it's repetitions through the week. You know, I've seen Kevin Sinfield practice for hours and hours and hours, and that's why he was the best kicker in the game. And there's no secret to it. You've got to knock the reps out. You've got to practice, and Rowan's been doing that. So fair play to him.
Just lastly, Westy, was it illness or something?
He'd pulled out with a knee injury. Yeah, I'm not sure. It disrupted us. It was hard, but the lads that came in did a really good job.
One last thing. George Hill looked good on his return, didn't he?
He was good, George, and you know he didn't play last week, and there's a bit of criticism of calling him back from Salford and not playing him, and we're a little bit down on numbers, and you know we need competition for places in practice, and he got his opportunity tonight, and I thought he was good. The development, you know, the Salford plan was always to go for a couple of months, get some development, get some learning, see a different environment, and come back in a better place, and I think he's done that. I didn't think he needed to stay at Salford any longer. We've got out of it what we wanted as a club selfishly, and George has come back in and done a good job, so you know, probably play moving forward too as well.
Thanks, Danny.
Thank you.
Danny, a special night tonight for Stephen Ratchford, as somebody who played a long time for Leeds.
Yeah.
For him to do 350 here at Warrington, and unfortunately for you, get a try on his 350th. He's been a hell of a player, hasn't he?
He has, yeah, and I think I said it yesterday. He's a really, really, really genuine good bloke as well. You know, the rugby side of it is always second to the person, I think, and very, very good rugby player, but a really good sportsman. You know, we had some good tussles, and now probably a bit unsportsman at times towards him, but we always shook hands, and we always you know, had a laugh off after the game and stuff, and he's had a great career, and he's not finished, he's still playing well, and I'm sure he'll have a big influence on Warrington season for the rest of the year.
Just on your back row options, I think you said during the week that that's going to be an area that you want to sort of almost recruit in. Will that intensify over the next 2 weeks? And obviously Mel will be back.
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, George Lawler can do a job there. He's probably the only one at the minute that can play there, but I like him in the middle. I think we miss George when he's not in the middle. So it's somewhere Jeremiah Simberkin's still, you know, 8 weeks away from playing, 6 to 8 weeks away. So I feel it's a position we probably need to look at. Yeah, whether there's room for manoeuvre there, I'm not sure. I'll have to speak to Chesney and see if we can do something there. But I feel like it is an area we probably need to bolster and strengthen.
Yeah. So just what would be the options there? Best, would it be loan? Would it be overseas? Would it be seeing what's here?
I think we'd have to look at every option. We'd have to look at, you know, seeing where we can, anyone that's available that can help us and add quality to us. We'd have to look at that and, you know, make it happen if we can.
Yeah, Danny, do you think any of those first 3 tries that Warrington scored, do you think you could have stopped any of them? Do you think you maybe let them get to
I think they were a little bit easy. Yeah, I mean, one with the deflection on the kick, the other 2 where Lindop and the winger's gone down the sideline. Yeah, I think I said to the players at half time, I think we showed them a little bit too much respect in that first half. We sort of sat off and let Duffy skip and give Steve time and give Ratchford time, and you know, I just asked the players to go put some pressure on him and go, you know, don't die wondering, go put some pressure. And I think we did that better in the second half. Yeah, but yeah, they've got some players that are good and can take advantage of defences that aren't quite at it, and you know, we were just a little bit slow getting started, I think, and that cost us.
Very quick from me, sorry.
It's all right. You've been shouting or cheering?
A bit of both. George, you mentioned one George. I thought your other George Griffin, also had a big impact
Yeah.
when he went on. Gives you a real good forward.
Yeah, he was good. Griff, he's not played for a few weeks. He's been out of the team for a few weeks, and he's just been, you know, he's had an injury as well. He got picked up an injury in the reserve, so he was probably a little bit undercooked going into the game today, but put his hand up for the team and, you know, worked hard. He, you know, at times I think he was blowing a little bit, but he just kept putting his hand up for the team, and that's all you can ask. You know, it's always going to be a squad, and you know, a squad effort for us, and we're missing some key players tonight, but I thought the lads that came in, you know, did a really good job.
Cheers, Danny.
Cheers guys, thank you.